All right, let's dive into a really powerful idea from Morgan Housel's book, The Psychology of Money. It's this. When it comes to investing, nothing is ever free. Everything has a price. But, and this is the key, it's a cost that you can't measure in dollars and cents. So, what is this hidden price of admission for building wealth? Let's get into it.
You know this quote from the former CEO of GE, Jeff Immelt? It just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly captures how we look at someone else's success, their big wins, their incredible wealth, and we totally, completely miss the messy, brutal, and honestly often painful journey it took to get there. We just see the victory, not the fight.
And this illusion is absolutely everywhere, but it's especially powerful in the world of investing. You see these mind-blowing, life-changing returns, and you can't help but think, wow, that must have been easy. Just sit back and watch the money roll in. But that is just not how it works. Not even close. I mean, just look at this. In the 50 years leading up to 2018, the S&P 500 index increased 119 times over. That is insane. It means every single dollar you invested would have turned into $119. From way up here, that just looks like a smooth, effortless ride to the top. The ultimate set-it-and-forget-it success story, right?
Well, that incredible return, it wasn't a gift. It wasn't free. It came with a really steep hidden cost, a cost that trips up most investors and causes them to give up, sometimes right before they reach the finish line.
So what is this price? If it's not dollars and cents, what are we actually paying for those amazing long-term returns? This is the core idea that we really need to wrap our heads around.
Here it is. The real price of admission for great long-term returns is paid with your emotions. It's that gut-wrenching feeling when you watch your portfolio just plummet. It's the fear that you've made a terrible, terrible mistake. It's the regret of not selling at the peak or buying at the very bottom. This is the real cost of getting in the game.
I love this analogy from the book. Think of it like a theme park. You can't enjoy the roller coasters and the fun without first paying for a ticket at the gate. Well, the emotional turmoil of market swings, that's just the ticket. You have to buy that ticket to experience the incredible rewards of long-term growth. You gotta pay the price to get on the ride.
Now this brings us to what might be the single most important mindset shift in all of investing. And it's all about one question. Are you paying a fee or are you paying a fine? Because the difference between those two things is, well, it's everything.
Think about it. A fine is a punishment, right? It's for doing something wrong, something you're supposed to avoid. But a fee is simply the price of admission for something valuable. The moment you start seeing market volatility as the fee for awesome long-term returns, your entire perspective just flips. You stop trying to avoid it, and you start seeing it as just the cost of the ride.
And believe me, for some of the most successful investments in history, that fee can be absolutely jaw-droppingly high. Let's look at two incredible examples to see what I mean.
First up, a company we all know, Netflix. From 2002 to 2018, it delivered a mind-boggling 35,000% return. An absolute home run, right? It just looks like a perfect, straight shot to the moon.
Not quite. Here's the real price they paid. During that incredible run, Netflix stock was actually trading below its previous all-time high on 94% of the days. Just let that sink in. Can you imagine holding on while, for nearly the entire time you owned it, your investment felt like it was a loser? That was the fee.
You think that's an outlier? Okay, let's look at Monster Beverage. The returns here were even more astronomical. 319,000%. I mean, it's one of the greatest investments of all time. Surely this had to be a smoother ride. Nope, not even close. Monster spent 95% of its days trading below a previous peak. The fee for that spectacular, life-changing return was nearly 2 decades of gut-wrenching doubt and uncertainty. Just unbelievable. So what do people do when they're faced with this kind of painful fee? Well, they try to get clever, right? They try to find a way to get the reward without paying the price. They try to time the market, get all the ups while cleverly dodging all the downs. But the data on this is absolutely ruthless. Morningstar did a study and found that the vast majority of these funds, the ones designed to tactically jump in and out of the market, they actually produced lower returns, more volatility, or just as much downside risk as a simple hands-off portfolio. It turns out trying to avoid the fee often costs you even more in the long run.
As Morgan Housel writes, the money gods do not look highly upon those who seek a reward without paying the price. You just can't cheat the system. The fee is mandatory.
And this all leads us to the final, really actionable insight. If you can't avoid the price, then the only real path to success is to accept it and to be willing to pay it.
Okay, so what does this all mean for us, for our own financial lives? How can we actually apply this powerful idea? What's the real takeaway here?
Well, it's simple, but it's definitely not easy. The real key is to reframe it all. To see volatility, fear, and uncertainty not as risks to be avoided, but as the normal, expected fee for admission to the incredible show of long-term compounding. Find a level of volatility you can actually live with, and then pay that price willingly.
So to wrap this all up, I want to leave you with a question to really think about. What fee, whether it's uncertainty, volatility, or just plain old patience, are you genuinely willing to pay to achieve your financial goals?
And on the flip side, what do you treat as a fine? A penalty for being wrong that you try to avoid at all costs, like selling in a panic or maybe chasing after the latest hot trend. Because telling the difference between the two, that can make all the difference in the world.
This whole fee versus fine idea is a really powerful one, and I'd love to hear what it means to you. So drop your thoughts and your answers in the comments section below. Let's get a conversation going.
And of course, if you found this breakdown helpful, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more insights just like this one. Thanks so much for watching.